Deric Schroeder is joining us from Homestead Inspection Company for our Seller Sound Off segment. And Seller Sound Off is where we talk about things that sellers can look forward to or how to get your home ready for the market. So today we're going to talk to him about getting a possible pre-inspection. Is that something that a seller should consider doing on their home?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we see quite a few of them, especially if if the market is as hot as it is right now. It gives you a little bit of an advantage. You can definitely, find some items that you can either have evaluated or work on yourself once you get that inspection done. So it kind of gives you a step ahead of the game, and you can kind of know when someone comes in with an offer, where you stand on that. One thing that I had on inspection just today was one of the window wells of the house was full of debris and leaves, and it had standing water in it. So hopefully, if you had had a pre-listing, the inspector might have noted that that window well was full of debris to get that cleaned out. Mm-hmm. Again, that costs $0. That wouldn't have cost you anything to do, but now they have water in their basement, and they probably had no idea that they were, in danger for that.
Yeah.
So having that pre-listing inspection done would have helped out a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you ever recommend to have your sellers do a pre-inspection?
I have not, but I've heard good things and bad things mm-hmm. about it. Mm-hmm. Good is that they can have things ready for getting it on the market. Bad is that they don't want to put out the extra money if they have to do repairs, mm-hmm. but then they'll know about the repairs ahead of time. Right. So it's a give or take.
It is, and it kind of depends on what kind of strategy you want to take, and the recommendation by the listing agent, or just how the seller feels comfortable, because those defects are going to come up either way. Mm-hmm. If you've got double tap breakers in the panel,
Definitely.
The inspector's going to find it. Obviously abnormal cracking in the foundation or a poor roof or something along those lines, it's going to be found whether it's after the contract is signed or before. So again, like I said, a benefit is if you have it done, then you can either have some repairs done, and then you can show the potential buyer that you're being proactive. But it's some money out of the pocket. So you just have to figure if that's the kind of strategy you want to take. And then if you are going to have some of those things done, you can write them down. You can write down who did the repair or when it was done, and then you can kind of have it done on your terms as well. If it's something that you're able to accomplish yourself because either you're qualified in that area or just cleaning the gutters out. If they're asking for a gutter company to come out or a specific trade to come out, and that was something you could remedy yourself, mm-hmm. Then you have an opportunity to kind of get ahead of the game.
Right.
So those are some benefits that we see from it, but it definitely depends on your game plan
right.
when it comes to selling.
Yeah, definitely something to consider and talk to your agent about mm-hmm. if you're getting ready to list your home. So some other stuff on the seller sound off, roofs. I know when I go to a listing appointment, if I look at the roof and it looks really worn, that's going to be one of the first things I address with the people, because if you have a house and the roof is not good, it's going to be a little tough to get a buyer to buy that, or even to get the buyer to be able to insure it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another thing that would come up on a pre-list inspection, and mm-hmm. definitely something you want to look at before listing the house.
And if you can have, if there is hail damage that shows up and mm-hmm. you're able to get a hail claim on it through your insurance company, then now you can mark it as a brand new roof.
Yeah.
Another big selling point, bringing more people to the table for your property.
Absolutely. Yep. Yeah. What things do you recommend for your sellers to do before listing?
Have a fireplace checked.
Yeah.
Because I have had multiple buyers do fireplace inspections, mm-hmm. and there's always either the cap on top is messed up, or the flue, or the mortar is messed up inside, or it needs cleaning. Mm-hmm. I had one just last week that the buildup of the creosote was so bad that they couldn't even do an inspection. It needed to be cleaned first.
Yeah. Did you just have a fireplace cleaned?
I did.
Yeah. And how much does that run?
It was about $150.
Yeah. So definitely worth doing for your personal safety and your family safety before
Absolutely.
You start doing that. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep. Windows now, I was at an inspection just earlier today also, and the windows have some moisture coming in, and some of the wood around the windows is you can tell it's got some moisture damage. So that's something that we're looking to get fixed. So
yeah, and with windows, when we're looking at them as a home inspector, one thing we're looking for is thermal pane failure. So if we have a window that's real dirty or grimy, I mean sometimes you'll get some like of a mossy type of a film over on the outside of it. If it's a 2-story window and we're not able to clean that off on the outside, then it's tough for us to tell if it has a thermal pane failure or not. So we might be calling out something that looks like a thermal pane failure to us because we want our client to know that's a possibility, and it could just be dirty. So as a seller, if you can get those windows cleaned, I mean, some of them will tilt in, you can clean them real easy, get them cleaned, and then that way there's a less likelihood of an inspector either calling out a window incorrectly, and it's going to make your house look better.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yep. What is the fix to those thermal pane failures? Because
Well,
I've seen those.
yeah, a lot of times people will have them replaced. Sometimes they feel it's easier to have it replaced. There are a few companies that will actually come into the field, remove the pane of glass, and put the gas back in it and seal it up.
Yeah.
I've never seen it done, but I've had a lot of people tell me that it's possible. So there is that fix, and it's not something you necessarily have to get rid of the whole window. If it's a double hung window, it might just be replacing the bottom sash or the top sash. And then basically what it is that gas in between the seal has broken, so you're starting to get some condensation in there.
Yeah.
And again, those are things that you might see on one day but not on a different day, just depending on the different temperature differences between outside and inside. If it's real hot outside and you've got the air conditioner cranked on the inside, they might fog up, and vice versa. So it might be something you never see, but just because maybe the inspector has turned the heat up real high in the house, to really get it cranking, might be something that comes up because he's running a little bit different than what you might keep your normal house temperatures.
Interesting.
The other thing you were talking about the wood, and it might have been damage or moisture. If there's a lot of wood rot, that can also affect the loan, because FHA is really funny about wood rot and peeling paint. So that's something that a seller would need to take care of prior to putting it on the market if they're going to try to sell it FHA. And FHA is one of the bigger easier loans out there right now. So
Yes. Yep. Yeah. So definitely could be a good idea. It's something you want to consider to get those pre-inspections, and that way there's no surprises that come up later. And I had an inspection done where I was representing the buyers, and there was a few really easy things that came up that I thought, it's too bad they didn't get a pre-inspection because they could have fixed it, and inspections would have went real smooth, and instead it didn't go smooth over some very small stuff.
Yeah, the less things that can be on the list, the better the house looks to that potential buyer.
Yep.
So even if it's tightening toilets down, or like we said, cleaning windows, cleaning the gutters out, adding soil around the house, I mean, just some simple things, those things are checked off the list, and they're not even going to show up, and so it'll look better for the buyer for sure.
Yep. Awesome. Well, thanks so much for joining us for our seller sound off, and thanks to you guys. If you have any questions, just put them below.